Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bolo Vrindavan Dham ki jai, Sri Vamsi-vata ki jai, Mandir-vata ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai, Jai Shri Radhe, Shri Radhe, Jai. Our Gurudev would go on parikrama in the early days when there wasn't as many people, when he wasn't as shy, because in bigger crowds you get shy. Gurudev would hug the trees and cry, offer full pranams to the trees, and then take the dust in his body and cry. And sometimes, there was a small group, 20, 30 people. This is like in the early 70s. Sometimes they had big parikramas. From 1975, they had all the different Gaudiya Vaishnavas would, for the most part, like 90% of them, they got along really well, and they would all come together and do parikrama along with each other. It was very sweet. But it's also sweet in nice small groups. But the value of, I was thinking on the drive over here, is the importance of perception, how we perceive things, and how the world is, like you say, you can see the world through rose-colored glasses. But that's also a choice. If you choose to see the world through rose-colored lens of love, then who can tell you you're wrong? And that's the mood of the devotees towards Radha-Krishna, that we see love everywhere. We see love dancing everywhere, present everywhere, in everything, within everything. And Krishna becomes mad after that love and runs behind that love. And in Vrindavan, love itself is the Guru, and love makes Radha and Krishna dance. So we've come to the place of the transcendental dance of Radha Krishna and all her expansions, all the gopis. So what a special place. If we don't have that perception of devotion, then, you can choose what you want to see. You can see the people left plastic bags here and there, or this or that. So in one sense, the Vaishnavas tell us that this is Vrindavan Dham having some protection by Maya Devi, actually. Maya Devi in one form protects the Dham by creating some disturbance. But if you can go beyond that veil, like we pray, Kripa Kori Maya Jal Utai Jakon Anki Deki Subhishala Chinmaya Bhavan. Oh Maya Devi, oh Mother, I desire pure devotion for the beloved Sri Radha-Krishna. Please give me entrance to Vrindavan by lifting up the curtain of Maya so I can see the transcendental abode of Sri Radha-Krishna. So yesterday we went to some place where the veil was somewhat thin veil, where we could see kind of behind the curtain a little bit. Very sweet at Tatiya Stan, very simple. One thing about Braj mood is it's very simple. You'll find Brijbasi Vaishnavas, our Prabhuji. He's lived in Braj for 50 years, serving everyone. He doesn't want sannyas, doesn't want to be guru, doesn't want any position. The only thing he wants to do is be able to feed people. He's like, as long as you let me feed people, I'll be happy. Give me that service. He said once when he was a little boy, he came to a temple in this was in Champakhatta, Navadvip, and he got to take prasad from the sadhus of the temple, and he thought, oh, this is so wonderful, my life is successful. And he would bring buckets of water for the sadhus. Once Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj came to bathe near Champakhatta, there's a lake there, and he got to bring him buckets of water. So this is Brajbasi mood. It's simple, it's sweet, it's innocent. When Krishna went to Kurukshetra, one time the gopis, Radharani, all the Brajbasis went to see him. And they said, Krishna, please just come back to Vrindavan. Here you're dressed up as some prince, with your crown, with your ornaments, and it's not so sweet. Come back to Vrindavan. We prefer the dust of Braj than the marble palaces of Dwarka. We prefer the roof being the tamal and kadamba trees, rather than the beautiful mosaic, intricate architecture. So this is the glories of Braj. And Krishna said, what can I do? I will also have to come back. And so, even though Krishna went far away for his duties, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, in chapter 3, look, Arjuna, you should do your work, your prescribed duties. Even I do them, even though I don't have to in one sense, but I do them, because if I don't, people would think, oh, there's no need for any responsibility, give up everything. But Krishna says I do them even though it's very difficult. I did my duty, I left Vrindavan. See, I'm here on the battlefield. I'm establishing Dharma, I'm giving these important teachings. But these teachings are there, like you can read the Gita and many scriptures. And mostly these teachings are for worldly people and somewhat spiritually inclined worldly people. But can Krishna speak about the glories of the foot dust of the gopis in the Bhagavad Gita? How will they think about this on the battlefield of Mahabharata at Kurukshetra? But that's what he wants to talk about. Not everyone's qualified. So the gopis, Radharani say, come back to Vrindavan. You also have some duty to us. And that's also a duty to yourself. I remember living in the temple in my early years, in 2005, 2006. We had so many things to do. So busy. And when you're young, you think busyness is the most important thing in life. To be busy and to be doing lots of important things. But if you forget the importance of love and affection and relationship, then what's the point of all your duties and all your work? And the Vaishnavas would say, oh, you're doing so much work, it's very good. But don't forget your mother, don't forget your father, don't forget relationship. Who are you doing it for? The Brijabasis, they're always serving, but they never forget who they're doing it for. And therefore, Krishna can never forget them and never leave them. In Bhagavad Gita 6:30, Krishna says, those people who see me everywhere and who see everything in me, they are never lost to me and I'm never lost to them. So in one sense, we can understand that God is always present with us, but we are not present with Him. We are present with His Maya. But the gopis, they see Krishna everywhere, especially if Krishna is not there, then they see Him even more. Oh. If Krishna is not there, they see Him even more, like the song you sang. So Krishna, even though in the Gita He's speaking outward, outside, like the shell of Vrindavan, like the shell of the watermelon. But really everything is indicating, go inside the watermelon. Find the red juice. That's the anurag, the love of the Brijabasis. So Krishna says, who is able to see me everywhere and see everything in me? Then in the end of the Gita he says, don't lose focus on the essence. And what does he say? Manmana bhava madbhakto. Meditate on me, offer your mind to me. And in the commentaries of all our acharyas, they say the best example of this is the Brija Gopis. They're the ones who completely, 1000% are absorbed in thoughts of their beloved Krishna. Therefore, Krishna says, I reciprocate. Mama vart manu vartante. However you approach me, I reciprocate. So the gopis, they are approaching Krishna in such a mood of intense devotion that it draws Krishna closer and closer and closer and closer, so much that he can never leave them. But externally it looks like he leaves them. Is it possible? It's very mysterious, but how to understand Krishna's prem vichitra is the crooked nature of love. And it's said that the river of love has two banks, two sides. One is meeting and one is separation. But this is one of the evidences that Krishna never leaves the gopis. With other devotees, because all living entities, you imagine you're praying to God, please see me, please come to me. Dhruva, the Lord appeared before Dhruva, and he spent some time with him and left. You don't hear that Dhruva was crying like the gopis, and then Krishna came back again. Ambarish Maharaj, so many great devotees, very exalted, pure devotees. Bali Maharaj, so many great devotees. Like we're praying Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. But the gopis have so much love for Krishna that even if he has to go and do some duty, very quickly he runs back. So really there's little separation, but the problem is that separation is very painful. The gopis say, Yugaitam nimeshena, a fragment of a second seems like an age. Nimeshena means 1/8 of a second. So 1/8 of a second feels like 1,000 years. So Krishna thinks, I have to go and do my duty. And I go for a moment. And then you're weeping at separation. What can I do? He came as Lord Chaitanya because he thought, I don't know how to deal with the situation. I don't know how to help them. So I'm going to completely embody their moods and the moods of my dear most beloved, the root of divine love, Sri Radha, and praying to understand from her perspective, then maybe I can figure out how to alleviate their separation somewhat. Because sometimes he sees, even when he's meeting with them, they have some fear of separation. But we should understand that there is no separation. This is his pastimes in this world. There is this, sometimes lovers and beloveds, they'll have a theatrical performance. Like you can imagine, and this happens in Vrindavan, in the spiritual world of Vrindavan, Radha-Krishna sit in a beautiful theater hall with all their friends, all the cowherd boys on one side, the parents on one side, Vrishabhanu, Kirtida, Nanda, Jashoda, and all the gopis, the Lita Vishaka. They all sit and watch. And then they witness the drama, the lila enacted of their meeting and separation. And they're weeping, feeling separation, but they're sitting in each other's arms. Are they meeting or are they separated? And they have two perfected souls there who every day speak of their pastimes. But in Goloka Vrindavan, in Gokul, in the highest abode of Radha-Krishna, they're eternally in meeting. So they're never separated. None of the gopis are ever separated from Krishna. Is that reality true or not? On the highest level, there's 5 kinds of knowledge. The highest knowledge is the knowledge of the spiritual realm of Vrindavan in its transcendental abode. Then we have knowledge of this world, and so on and so forth. But that knowledge, that highest reality, that's the highest reality. In that reality, they're never separated. That's why we see in this world, when they came, then they got married, to show we're never separated. So at Bandirvat, they got married. So there's something about this that people say, why didn't they do a formal marriage? Why didn't they invite Nanda Baba and Krishna's family side, Yashoda, and Radharani's family side, Vrishabhanu, Kirtida? Why did they do marriage in secret? It was a secret marriage. So the story goes that one day Krishna was in the arms of Nanda Baba, his father, and Krishna was a little baby, Purnima's age, baby. And all of a sudden, the sunny sky was covered with clouds, dark rain clouds, and it began to thunder, and then lightning and rain. And Nanda Baba was looking for shelter, and all of a sudden this beautiful, effulgent, divine goddess appeared. Who is that? Swarup Shakti Shrimati Radhika, Adhishtatri Devi, the root potency of the Lord, his internal potency, his eternal beloved. She appeared as a Kishori form, as a youth, 16 years age. But Nanda Baba couldn't understand, and he said he couldn't understand her Swarup. She was hidden to him, very effulgent. He thought she is some transcendental goddess. She asked for Krishna. Normally you'd think, would Nanda Baba give his son to someone in that situation? But the power of Srimati Radhika's love and devotion is it melts everyone's hearts. Nanda Baba had no doubt or nothing. He said, no problem. And she took Krishna, and the power of the spiritual world is that time can suit their purposes in that world, in the highest realm. Even when Krishna appeared on earth, time could adjust to his needs. Like when he did Rasa dance in this place, this is Vamsi-vata, so he did Rasa dance here. Sometimes in Vrindavan there's a Vamsi-vata, sometimes here. When he started the Rasa dance, what happened? The moon stopped. It was a full moon and the moon stopped. And how long did the moon stop for? The whole night of, was one night of Brahma. In our time, it means like billions of years. So in the power of the Dham, in Krishna's age, this is the age of miracles and magic and phenomena, miracles. So Krishna, time suits his purpose. Because he says, Kalo Smi, I am time. Krishna says, I am time in the Bhagavad Gita. So the point is that Nanda Baba gave Radharani Krishna in her arms because she wanted to be hidden. Otherwise, Krishna and her could be the same age. But Krishna and her were the similar age. Radharani is younger than Krishna by a few weeks. But she appeared in her Kishori form. The evidence is, because some people say Radharani is older than Krishna. It's not there in scripture. What's the evidence? When Radharani was born, she appeared on a 1,000-petaled golden lotus in Vrishabhanu Kund. Vrishabhanu brought her, gave her to his wife Kirtida. They didn't have a daughter at that time, they had a son. So anyhow, Narad Muni came searching for her because he saw Krishna had appeared. Definitely his Shakti, Radharani, will appear. When he came to Vrishabhanu's house, he said, did you have any daughter born? Do you have any child? He said, we have a son. He said, no, do you have any daughter? Anyhow, he went to see Radharani. She was in her cradle, covered in beautiful flower petals and soft cotton. And he said, please bring me articles to worship her. And so they left to bring the articles to worship her. And immediately he offered prostrated obeisance, and he prayed for her to show her her Kishori form, which is her eternal form. And she showed her Kishori form to Narad Muni. So this is evidence that, right, she was baby when they had this marriage, but she appeared in the Kishori form only to experience the Parakiya secret marriage. Because if she came in this little form, how is she going to take Krishna? And if they do it as adult, as young teenagers, then how will they do it in a Parakiya indirect way? So Nanda Baba gave Radharani Krishna, but Radharani was still this age, young. But she appeared in this form, just like she did to Narada Muni. She is the supreme goddess. She can do as she likes. So anyhow, then they came to where we were, Bandirvat, under this tree. At that time, this tree went miles in all directions. You can see some places where they have trees like this. Even in Hawaii, there were some places in Tampa, Florida, there's a tree that goes miles. So before, this tree would go over the Jamuna, and we saw some pictures there. The cowherd boys would climb over the branches to cross the Jamuna, the gopis also. And this is where the mothers would send all their lunch most days. And they would tie their lunch packets in the branches of the tree, like in the little twigs and the little knots. So anyhow, this tree was huge. As Radharani sat down, as soon as they went out of sight of Nanda Baba, for Nanda Baba, time passed very quickly. Right? Time kind of dilated for him. But then Radharani and Krishna, immediately Krishna came into his Kishore form. Then immediately Lalita, Vishaka, all their intimate friends came. They wanted a secret play marriage, but only with their close circle. And then they said, who's going to be our priest? So Lord Brahma came. Brahma did the fire ceremony. And they did a Gandharva marriage. Gandharva marriage is just by exchanging garlands and the vows of love. And vows of commitment and dedication and devotion and fidelity. So, the point here is, why didn't they do a public marriage? Because in Braj, there's the glories of Parakiya Rasa. We sing Jaya Jaya Jwala Rasa Sarva Rasa Sar Parakiya Bhave Jaha Brajate Prachar. Krishna and Radharani came especially to relish this secret paramour love, which is especially pleasing to them. Without Parakiya Rasa, even the Rasa dance wouldn't have gone on. How would Krishna dance with all of Radharani's expansions, all the gopis, without Parakiya Rasa? The dance at home, then you, like we do, right? You have a boom box, you put on music, and you dance. No one's stopping you, right? You guys can dance at home, no problem. But it's more sweet. Krishna has to pretend to go to sleep. Mother Yashoda tucks him in at night. And Krishna, I'm so tired from the long day, I'm just going to quickly go to sleep. And he starts purring, not snoring. Krishna doesn't snore, but he purrs. Krishna's purring. And then Mother Yashoda tiptoes out of his room, and Krishna tiptoes out of his room. She goes out this side exit, and Krishna goes out the window exit. And then he runs to the forest, stands under the banyan tree, and plays his flute. And from all directions, all the gopis leave all their responsibilities. You have so many responsibilities in life, so many things to do. But when you're going to die, are you going to finish all those things? Oh, death, Yamaraj, please let me finish building my house. Oh, Yamaraj, I have to finish cooking dinner. Oh, Yamaraj, I have to finish my job. I have some code I have to finish writing. I have a meeting tomorrow. Come tomorrow. It's not like that. So when Krishna calls us, we should also be ready to give up our material responsibilities. That's spiritual life. But the beauty of this is that even when you run away from everything and come to Krishna, He'll do everything according to what is beneficial. Like when the wives of the Brahmins came to Krishna, they gave up everything, they had full faith, and they said, we don't want to go home. Krishna said, no problem, go home, I'll be there with you. So in this way, we do what's called Krishnara Sangsar. We do all our duties in life, but we don't forget Krishna. That's how the gopis, the Brijabasis are. We do all our duties, we all have to go our own directions, do our duties in life. Krishna himself also did that. He came to this world and showed that. So we may have to do that, but anyhow, we shouldn't forget Krishna. And if we don't forget Krishna, He will always be present with us. He is present with us. We will always be present with Him. Like He said in the Gita, God is always with us, but we choose to be with Him or not. So they had this secret marriage. What's the difference between a Gandharva marriage and an arranged marriage? Imagine if it was an arranged marriage, who knows who's Krishna going to marry, who Radharani is going to marry. They thought, let's just be safe. Let's get married to each other first. Whatever happens in the future, who knows? So Gandharva marriage means love marriage. The rule is, two people love each other, they get married. You don't have to ask your parents or anybody. But Radharani shyly, indirectly asked Nanda Baba, how can I carry him? Right? So she indirectly got permission, you could say, in one way. But this was their marriage place, and the rules for this love marriages, you just share garlands. Sometimes I tell the story of how my eldest sister had some, you could say, some karmic destiny with one man from across the world, almost as far as you can get across the world. She was in California, he was in Australia, but they met in Kartik. And did I tell you the story? I've told the story. Anyhow, it's very sweet because they came for permission to have a long distance phone conversation relationship. And they came to Gurudev, and my father said, you should bring him garlands. So it was late in the evening, and we went for darshan. Gurudev said, why have you come? I was there, my father was there, a few sevaks were there. He said, oh, Gurudev, they want permission to talk with each other, to explore a relationship with each other. You know, maybe in the future marriage, this and that. I don't remember exactly what words he said, but Gurudev said, oh, very good. And then went to give him garlands. He said, no, no, no. You give to her, you give to him. He said, done marriage. Gandharva marriage. But Gurudev was like Brahma. And my father was like, finished. She was 19. Something like that. 18, 19. It was devastation. It took the whole mutt, all the different devotees in the ashram to pacify my father and say it'll be okay. Prabhuji was there. He always says Prabhuji was the one who pacified him the most. He was like, don't worry, have faith in Gurudev. He said, Gurudev didn't understand. I didn't say they were going to get married. He said, don't worry. He said, can we take it back? How are you going to take it back? Lord Brahma did the marriage. So Radharani and Krishna thought, just in case, let's get married together right when we're babies. But who wants to get married as babies? So they appeared in their Kishori form, their teenage form. And they said, who are we going to invite? You can't have a marriage festival, marriage party without your friends. So they invited all their friends, all the gopis, everyone came. Then afterwards, Krishna again took a small form. And then in that beautiful arena, there was no rain, no thunder, anything. They had a beautiful place. But then afterwards, as soon as they came out, it was like a moment had passed. Even though they had a big party, big celebration, how long does the wedding last? Who knows? Could have been days. But they came out and Nanda Baba was like, oh, she's back. And she gave Krishna his arm, he went back. She went back to Barshana, again became a little baby. But they were happy, okay, peaceful. Because they know in life there's hardship, sometimes there's separation, but when you know someone is yours, that's why marriage is important. Marriage means I know we have relationship. That's Swakiya. Swakiya means we have relationship. So this also teaches us that Radha-Krishna, they are eternally related. You can never separate them. And so they showed us, even though they want to enjoy the indirect love, the secret love, still they show that we are eternally one. We cannot be separated. So that was happening at Bandirvat. So many pastimes. I'll do this in like 30 seconds each. Shantalai, which we were just here, the gopis were tired. Not tired. They never get tired. Why? In spiritual bodies, when you're ecstatic in bliss, your body can go forever, right? When a spiritual body, they dance in the Rasa Leela for millions of years. You're functioning on spiritual energy completely. But there would be perspiration, and Krishna would take his yellow shawl and wipe the perspiration from the forehead of the gopis. And then he went here and he made a kund. He made a little pond and he gave beautiful, cool, fresh water, very sweet water. Like you go to some place and you taste the water, and if you added anything, it would ruin it. Some water is so nice. You're like, would you like some lemon? No. Would you like some mishri, some sugar? No. Perfect. So Krishna says in the Gita 8.7, Rasoham 7.8, Rasoham apsu kunte, I am the taste of water. So he wanted to give himself to the gopis in that way. So the gopis all drank and were relieved of all exhaustion. What is the only thing that exhausts us? Govinda Virahe, separation from Krishna. That even the fear of separation, don't worry, I am present within you, I am that taste of the water, you can relish me in that way. So this is Shamtalai. Venukup is where Krishna defeated this demon, Vatsasura, a demon who came in the form of a calf. And the gopis played a Man Leela, which is when they push Krishna away and don't let them near him. Krishna said, how can I purify myself of this sin? They said, you have to bathe in all the holy rivers and all the holy ponds and lakes in the whole world. So Krishna said, no problem, I'll do it very quickly. So he took his flute and he made a little well. And in that well, he invoked all the holy tirthas. They all came with folded hands and personified forms. Some of them are male forms. Some of them are female forms. Saraswati, Narmada, Ganga, and so forth. And some, Prayagraj. Others, male forms. Haridwar, Tirtharaj. So they had one side. They all offered pranam and asked the chance to serve. The gopis were thinking, look at Krishna. They were trying to make it hard for him, but Krishna also wanted to show that everyone worships me. Don't take me as some kind of just ordinary village boy. All the tirthas themselves came in divine forms and were offering pranam to Krishna. Krishna said, please be present here. So they all turned into their subtle form. Like we go to these holy places and we say, oh, it's just water. But there's dimensions upon dimensions upon dimensions stacked upon each other. Actually, not even stacked, they're cohabiting space. So where are we now? Oh, we're in Vamsi-vata, we're in the material world. Yes, but right here, right? Where is it? Intertwined together, who knows? Brass dance, feast is, someone's cooking, someone's putting on ankle bells, someone's putting on sindoor, someone's not putting on sindoor, manjaris, not yet married, sakis, gopis. Who knows? That's going on. One time, Gurudev was with Swami Prabhupada in Ramanreti, Krishna Balaram place, and they were having a morning discussion from 9 to 11. And many Brahmin Pandits had come. Prabhuji was there. He would go and cook for Prabhupada. So he would go and he was a young brahmachari. Prabhupada would ask Gurudev, can I have this one? He would ask him and Gurudev would say, no, this one's mine. Take many here. And you have so many strong, powerful disciples. Big elephants. Why do you need this Bengali boy? He's from Champakati, he's mine. They play this tug of war. Because Prabhuji met Prabhupada when he was just a little boy also. This is in like 69 when they were starting Mayapur, when it wasn't built. And Prabhupada gave him Harinam, and he's always had this really sweet connection. So anyhow, Prabhuji was there and he describes this scene that after their Harikatha, they started doing kirtan. And then outside the room, you could start hearing the bugle horns, the peacocks. It was no longer... That time, it wasn't like busy and there wasn't a rush, there wasn't cars, all this stuff. It was very quiet and peaceful. But then they heard all the noises of like a big parikrama party, and Gurudev and Prabhupada were weeping in ecstasy, hair standing on end, and everyone began to sing and dance with great ecstasy. Prabhupada would say, why? When there's very powerful, pure Vaishnavas present, and especially when there's 2 or 3 together, very dangerous. If there's one great sadhu, pure devotee, and many conditioned souls, they may be there, but it takes 2 to tango. If there's 2 together, and they're doing kirtan together, it's very dangerous. We hear many stories of our acharyas, we don't have time now, but you bring 2 great sadhus together, they start kirtan, they start harikatha, like Sanatana Goswami and Rupa Goswami, they were talking with each other, and who came? Radharani herself. See? The veil is very thin. The dimensions are upon each other. Rupa and Sanatan, 5,000 years after Radha-Krishna's appearance, they were sitting and talking all day about Radha-Krishna. And Rupa was thinking, what will I feed Sanatan after Katha is finished? Before he even had that thought, Radharani came and had brought milk, sugar, wood, made a little fire pit, started cooking, put it there, and said, please eat, Baba. And then they ate and were weeping tears of ecstasy. So Gurudev and Prabhupada were together experiencing these moods of bhakti, and they began to weep. And then Krishna and the cowherd boys going right by the door. Why? They want to hear as they go by. Prabhupada singing, Gurudev singing, oh, very sweet. Right? Krishna's also hearing. Krishna's also hearing. This is the power of perception. The more you want to be Krishna conscious, the more Krishna comes close to you. He's not far, very close. But Krishna has one secret. He says, Jai kare amar as. You want to come near me? This is a very spicy verse, so I won't quote the whole verse. But the essence is, Krishna will bring you near his devotees. He won't destroy your material life, don't worry. Sometimes it said, Jai kare amaras tar hoy sarvanas. Tabinacharya, if you still don't want to give, like the real verse says, those who really want to come to Krishna, gradually their material life is disappearing. Not just being destroyed, disappearing. The knots are loosening. Like, sometimes you tie your dhoti, tie your sari, the knot's loosening. So the knots of material life are loosening. You can tie and tie and tie. Krishna's more qualified. Anyhow, the point is, Jai kare amaras tar hoy sarvanas. If still you don't want to leave Krishna, he says, then I'll make you a Babaji, like a beggar. If still you don't want to leave Krishna, I'll put you under the shelter of my servants of the servants of the servants, who? The Brajabasis. So, but there's one quote of Yudhisthira Maharaj. Yudhisthira Maharaj said, Krishna, you have a bad reputation. Your devotees become beggars. They leave everything. They become destitute. Krishna says, what can I do? They become so mad after me. It's like if you're a wealthy person. Imagine you're really, really wealthy, but you don't pay any attention to your wealth. And from 10 directions, up, down, north, south, east, west, northeast, southwest, from 10 directions, people will come to steal it. And if you don't pay any attention, one thief will tell another thief it's the best heist ever because he doesn't even care if it's stolen. When you realize the wealth of Krishna, who cares if your money's gone? This money is temporary, you can't take it with you anyway, but Krishna is eternal. He's the eternal wealth. So Krishna says, what can I do? I lose all. They become my devotees. They just stop holding on to anything. They're chasing me, I'm chasing them. What to do? So Yudhisthira Maharaj said, no, I want a boon that I'll be wealthy, I'll have a big family, nice kingdom, and then you won't have a bad reputation that your devotees are poor. So this is our Guru Varga, Swami Prabhupada. Nice temples, opulent temples. This is good. When I was here in September, Prabhupada said, you should have some opulence. Nice car, nice temple. Why? Otherwise people said, otherwise you sit on copins under a tree somewhere in New York. What are people going to think? Just another madman. Should have nice things for Krishna, no problem. So anyhow, whatever is meant to come, we accept and we use for service. We don't artificially renounce anything. And we think, no, more should come because I'll use more for service. So don't think, one time Gurudev on Parikrama, they lost a pair of cartels. Gurudev got so angry. Where's that pair of cartels? Someone said, Gurudev, I'll buy you 20 pairs of cartels. He said, no, I want that pair of cartels. You have no love? He said, Madhya Yashoda is the perfect sannyasi because she takes all responsibility and she doesn't lose anything. So if you like I lost, the other day, I lost thousands of rupees. Why? I'm just a useless Babaji. But if good people, they shouldn't lose anything. So this is my fault. No one else's fault. I lost it. Right? Anyhow, Yudhisthira Maharaj said, no, you should take care of responsibility for everything. Yudhisthira Maharaj is one of Krishna's greatest devotees. But anyhow, with everything, you should be with Krishna. Without anything, you should be with Krishna. This is what Prabhupada would say. Look, I tried to make big businesses so I could preach because my guru asked me to preach. But one after another, they weren't working. Bhaktivinoda Thakur also started a pharmacy for Bhaktisiddhanta to run. He said, no, make some money, preach, pass some time. Didn't work. Afterwards, Prabhupada lost one business, lost another business. But afterwards, his wife left him, or he left her. His 2 sons. But afterwards, Prabhupada would say, look, now I have hundreds of thousands of children, hundreds and thousands of temples, but nothing is mine, everything is Krishna's. So anyhow, we're praying for Radharani's mercy, Krishna's mercy. Krishna is present in the hearts of the Vaishnavas. He is in the hearts of all the jivas as Paramatma. Right? Okay? Paramatma is in all of our hearts, but Paramatma is neutral. You do whatever you want to do. I'm going to do whatever I want to do. I'll observe, I'll witness, and I'll guide you, I'll give you some good advice sometimes. But if you go with the Vaishnavas, then Govinda Vishram. Krishna himself is resting in the hearts of the Vaishnavas. Krishna, not Paramatma. Krishna says, Paramatma, go to some other jiva. Now I am here directly as Brajendra Nandan Shamsundar. So if you want to be with that Krishna, then Tomara Shakatiyache, Vaishnavas have him. Therefore, Amito Kangal, Krishna Krishna Boli Daitava, we follow the Vaishnavas. Panchakalpatra Vishubhasindevacha. Pitanam Pavam. So we can go to Mansarovar or we can do one more kirtan and then go